Severa and her beloved Nelio Algrim walked through the glistening halls of his manor. The two only recently got back together after 7 years of separation, unknowing if they'd ever see each other again, and already both have missions to attend to. Severa looked down at Neo. He remained silent and stoic. "Are you okay, Neo?" she asked. He stopped and sighed as he held his head in his hand. "I'm fine, just stressed is all. So much is coming and you're leaving again by yourself." Severa picked up Neo, her segmented tail wrapped around him like a snake as she kissed the mystic on his lips. "Don't worry, my love. You know what I went through. You've seen how much I can kick. Fornius could still be a threat. He can try, but he failed last time and made me a super soldier in the process." Severa gently placed him back on the ground and began laughing. For a man so smart and old, he made such a stupid blunder. Neo's frown went to a smirk as he chuckled with her. "I should have more faith in you." "Of course, baby. Besides, you said yourself that you don't have enough resources to make your innovations. If we are going to beat the Darkin, your genius needs to be realized in metal circuits and fire. When I get back, you'll have what you need, and besides, I need a break from your mother and sister. They'll come around eventually. You only just came back after leaving with him." "Humph. Astria acts like I'm the only woman in your life to leave you for years. She should look in the mirror. Don't worry about her. You're one of us now, it'll get better." "I know, Neo." Neo nodded and pulled out his arcane diamond. This special grade spell drained 80% of the diamond's energy as he conjured teal magic in his hands. "Okay, it's time to go, let me get you there. The last time you tried to teleport, you took a 60-foot drop." Neo waved his hands, clapped them together, and his beloved vanished from the manor. The young Arali surged through the space between space, as everything around her was a void of magic and color. She waited silently in the void until she was forced out by the sequence of the spell. She exited the tear and felt a completely different environment. Immense sunlight hit her face. The marble floor was replaced by sand and cobblestone. The hustle and bustle of the town she was now in replaced the silence. A crowd of people stared at her as she just appeared to them in a flash of teal light. Severa looked around at the people and saw tall male guards posted up near the buildings, but none of them approached her. "What, is there something on my face? Move on with your day," she said as everyone continued on. Through the streets, the immense desert sun and heat was getting to her through her black and scarlet wizard robes. She was used to the humidity of her Vanir homeland and the temperate climate of the breeze lands, but not the blistering heat of the desert island. She constantly found herself using minor incantations to cool herself off. To her left in the town square, she saw a large board with a map of the town she learned was called Zepho, and decided to go to a tavern called the Gemstone near the southern wall. Let's see if the gemstone has loose lips," she thought to herself before she left the town. A human child ran and nudged into her. "Sorry, miss," he said as he tried to run. Severa felt something leave her pocket as soon as he touched her. She knew this game all too well. Her tail shot from her lower back and grabbed the boy's left wrist, looking like a chain from her back. Eyes of the populace began to gravitate to the commotion. "Drop what you stole," she commanded. "Miss, please. I didn't steal anything. Don't lie to me." She pulled him closer, her crimson eyes gazed into his soul. "I'm not lying, please believe me. I get it, the heat can give us delusions, especially in your dark clothing, but I didn't take anything from you." The crowd became more dense as they began shaming Severa. "Leave the boy alone," said one man. "Pick on someone your own size," a woman said. Severa lifted her tail up. The boy was lifted in the air and items fell from his person. Some gemstones, copper and silver pieces, and a black spellbook adorned in bones and rubies. "Well, look at what we have here," she said as she picked up the book and ignored the other items. "Let's see." She opened the book to read out. "Owner, Severa. This is my spellbook." She held it out to the crowd and let go of the boy. He fell 5 feet into the sand. She leaped from the crowd, shocking them with her physicality. From the rooftop she ran until she saw the gemstone, and was impressed at the foliage and gems adorning the place. She jumped off the roof and landed on the front door, but stumbled a bit. Damn, it's hot. The tavern was packed with patrons drinking alcohol. Their talking filled the bar with positivity in the town's fearful times. Severa walked up to the counter and sat on a wooden stool, twirling her silky white hair, and checked her book for anything wrong. She frantically flipped through pages. "I swear if that kid ruined anything in this book, it's over for him," she mumbled. The barkeep who was wiping a wooden mug saw Severa and was instantly put back by her deathly white complexion, her crimson eyes and curved horns. He could tell she was part devil and from her dark attire one of the children of venom. He placed the mug down and approached her as his heart pounded. The black spellbook in her hands told him she wielded dark magic that commanded the dead. "Can I help you? If you're not going to order something you must leave. This establishment is for paying customers." Severa looked up at him and closed her book. "I need information. Do I need to pay for that?" "Yes. Would you like mountain ale, peak wine, Axemaster or something else?" What I want to order is..." She reached in a pouch and pulled out 5 gold pieces and gently shoved it to the barkeep. A thick river of knowledge shaken with the axes of orcs. The barkeep paused as he realized what she asked. "That type of beverage is reserved for the stone knights and sages. Perhaps you would enjoy a glass of sunlight." Severa chuckled and pulled out 15 gold pieces and placed it on top of the original 5. Money like that would make someone set for months. "Am I a stone knight or a sage yet?" He took the 20 gold pieces and placed it in his pocket. "The orcs have already destroyed Grendel. It's a few hours to the west of town. They are rumored to be armed with some magic capabilities, but it's a sickly green and they smelt like death." Severa remembered beings of this description and looked away in deep thought. Could this be a pair bond with the ancient parasites she learned of with Fornius? "Thank you, that is all the information I require." She left the tavern and heard, "Stop." Rocks erupted from the ground and encased her lower body. In front of her were 2 stone knights clad in heavy stone armor, adorned in moss and divine sigils. Their large stone hammers hung from their shoulders, their amulets bearing Taurus's sigil hung from their necks. The taller one spoke up. "We found the mugger." "Mugging a child, what is wrong with her?" asked the other. "I didn't mug anyone." "Really, then why do we have people saying you did?" asked the taller one. "You do things based on what people say rather than evidence?" "We have numerous statements from about 50 people that you mugged a child. So again you listen to what people say rather than evidence. Don't you have more important things to do than harass huntresses? Can't you knights force truth from people? It's only a 3rd grade spell, I know you have it. I know you didn't cast the spell because you're here accusing me of mugging." "Look," the knight said, but was interrupted by Severa, who broke free from the stone, bewildering them both. "No, you look." She walked up to the knight and stared up at him. "A real paladin operates on truth, not rumors, because that's all statements are. Maybe get the actual truth instead of pissing me off." Severa walked past the knight, but stone erupted from the sand and held her by her arms, legs and torso. "You are being detained until we figure this out," said the second stone knight. Severa had enough. She snapped the stone shell into rocks, stunning the paladins as she rubbed dust off her body. "I haven't committed any crimes. Keep testing me and we'll see if you can arrest me for violent crime." They remained silent as she walked off into the street. As the adrenaline of rage wore off, she felt the effects of the extreme heat and the backlash from prolonged anger as she held her forehead, leaned on a sandstone house and puked on the sand. "Fuck, I hate paladins so fucking much," she mumbled as she kept going until she left the gate. The guards wouldn't dare make eye contact. As she left Zepho, she leaned on the sandstone wall and pulled out a magic bottle. With a pluck to the glass, the clear bottle conjured cold water that she quickly gulped down. She wiped the water from her mouth and took a deep breath, while cooling herself down with a minor incantation. "Finally I can see normally. You're lucky I love you, Nelio Algrim," she mumbled as she ran through the sand at high speed. As she ran through the sands like a cheetah surging through the savannah, a cloud of pale blue ethereal mist erupted in front of her. From the mist came a demon with pale skin, small vestigial wings on his back, horns and spikes protruding from his head and body. Jewel chains hung from his neck, rings on his long spindly fingers. He hovered above her as mist flowed from his lower body. While he was interrupted by Severa's long tail surging at him and her stinger pressed against his throat. First stone knights, now demons. The demon held his hands on her tail. "It's not my intention to battle Cromwell." Severa was shocked at the demon knowing her name and retracted her tail. "How do you know my last name?" The demon rubbed his neck as the small cut regenerated. "My name is Gilmath, the demon merchant. I have done a lot of trade with the Vanir for a very long time. I know of your family. I'm sorry for your loss." Severa crossed her arms, her fingers rapidly tapping her bicep. "You don't talk about that. Why are you here?" "It's just to piss me off. I wouldn't dare anger a huntress of your caliber. I'm here to simply trade like I usually do. You're after the orcs, correct? I simply need their souls and I can help you, give you something good for your efforts. Severa pondered the proposal as she pulled out an amulet in her pocket, a piece of black anemite stolen from her previous master, capable of containing souls. Tell me, Gilmath, how many souls do you want and what can I hope to attain by feeding you souls? I'll let the deal be known now. 500 souls in exchange for this. From his hands he conjured a black gemstone radiating black and bearing a grim hum, an umbral gnosis, a means of containing way more energy than your second-grade arcane capacitor, and it has the added bonus of augmenting dark magic. Your sensorium, your black animancy will be so much greater. He giggled at the thought while his fingers clicked together like dominoes. However, if you can give me more than 500 we can negotiate further rewards. Severa considered the demon merchant's proposal as she looked at her current arcane capacitor. She glared at the gem bemoaning its capacity, only enough for second-grade spellcraft, nowhere near what she was doing when she was with her former master. 500 souls is certainly not impossible. Can you get me something that will make me invisible? I swear to Scorpio, the next one to try to impede me will meet my scythe with their throat. Depends on how many souls you can procure. Okay, Gilmath. I'll give you as many souls as I can and we'll talk when I get them. I know you will have enough for us to have a great trade. Now I have to go. If the enforcers of this land find me, the souls won't matter. Severa nodded as Gilmath descended into a cloud of pale blue vapor as it vanished. So what will I ask him for? She checked her burial blades for sharpness, the ether orbs for extra damage, the shotgun barrel and magazine. I gotta be ready, she continued to run through the sand.
After getting a tip from the barkeep, Severa walked through the sands of Atlas Ire and arrived at the ruins of Grendel. As she moved through the ruins, found dried blood on the sand and shattered stone. Corpses of orcs and humans littered the streets, dried and desiccated by the scorching sun. One of the many decrepit houses crumbled into pale yellow sandstone dust and rubble as she walked by it. The house couldn't handle the slightest vibration. She shook her head at the sorry state of the once strong town and kept walking as she knew that even in this era of theocracy, Tiham were not the only monsters, a lesson she had learned way too early. Severa gazed at the corpses and saw an opportunity for growth and pulled out her spellbook. One man's victim is a necromancer's gain. She flipped through the pages and selected one of her favorite spells. As purplish-black plasma began to arc around her arm, she was interrupted by a sharp pain in her head that felt like a sword plunged into her skull. Her plasma dissipated as she held her head in pain and began to hear Astria's voice in her head. Severa, do you hear me? This is my first telepathy spell. I hope I did it right. You definitely miscast it. My head feels like an orc took a maul to it. She leaned on a ruined house and focused her efforts on her headache.
Oh.
Sorry. Whatever. What are you calling me for? I'm calling you to ask you to come back to Gardenia. It's not safe out there. Severa's headache swiftly vanished at Astria's words, feeling like needles that struck a nerve as she stood up straight, pushing down the building with a sudden jerk of her back. Don't do that. Don't act like you care if I come back alive or not. After all, I'm a bad influence on your brother. Don't act like a friend or someone who is concerned. You or your mother, she snapped. Astria went quiet but eventually spoke. Look, I'm sorry I said that, but you're in over your head out there. Come back. Neo is worried about you. I'll come back when I'm finished, Ice Queen. Don't make me come over there and drag you back myself. Severa chuckled at the thought of fighting the crown princess. Yeah, good luck with that. Don't let that divine power fool you. You still have blood and bones, and thus, the likelihood of you beating me is minimal. She hung up the telepathic call and heard heavy, slow footsteps in the distance. She leaped to the top of a ruined house and saw a tall, very muscular humanoid figure dragging a big corpse by the leg. In her mind, who else could this be except another orc pillaging what remained of the town? Severa readied her burial blades in preparation for potential danger, checked her arcane capacitor, and saw its full charge, enough for some high spellcraft. But the large figure turned to her direction, let go of the corpse, and walked towards her. The man pulled a sword as she extended her tail. Her stinger dripped with purple necrotoxin. They darted to each other and swung their weapons. Severa dodged the heavy cleave of the man's sword, leaped from his arm, and stung him in the neck, but his neck was too thick for her stinger to get past the first layer of muscle. She looked at the man and noticed her specific necromancer crest next to her stinger, his sunken blue eyes that reminded her of sapphire. His skin was dry, deathly white, wrinkly, and hard to pull out of his mummified remains. Her eyes widened as she uttered, "Aldrich." "Severa," he said, his voice hoarse and dry as the sound came from his sunburnt throat. Severa pulled out her stinger and stood before the undead. She couldn't believe that one of her thought-dead close friends, the first risen she made, was still alive. His size and strength increased as her lost friend returned better than ever. She smiled at the realization. Tears flowed down her face as she hugged him. The smell of rot didn't bother the necromancer. Aldrich hugged her back as seeing Severa again was like finding a thought-dead mother, his cold, mummified heartbeat in his chest. "Severa? Is that really you?" She wiped her tears and answered. "Depends. Is that you, Aldi?" Their embrace became tighter as Aldrich swung her in his joy. "I thought you died in the massacre." He let her go as she stared at his newfound physiology. "I thought you did, too. But look at you. You went from a 5-foot man to a 7-foot behemoth. I had to survive out here in the desert. My skin hardened in this heat, so I took the life force of the animals and hostile orcs eventually, and this became the result," he explained. "If you had remained in Vanaheim, the need for that would be null." She took a deep breath. "But I'm sure you had your reasons, so stand still." Severa placed her hands on Aldrich's face to tend to him like a mother kissing her child's scraped knee and transferred her orange soul energy into his body. His dry, withered body gained moisture. His skin ceased flaking at the slightest motion. His movement became less strenuous. "There you go, dear, better?" Aldrich gently moved her hand off his face, shocked at his returned mobility. "Aren't you tired? I know you can't deal with extreme heat for too long." "Nah, my stamina is great." Roots exploded from the ground behind Aldrich, wrapped around his arms, and pulled them back, while stone spikes shot from the sand and impaled Aldrich through the chest. His undead cells barely registered the pain, as his cold black blood slowly dripped on the rocks. Upon seeing this, Severa clenched her fists and turned around to see 3 half-elven druids, their weapons glowing with primal magic. The group leader, Dyler, walked up with his hand out to greet the necromancer. "Ma'am, please step away from the undead." She glared at Dyler. Her blood boiled at the sight of the druid. "Get the hell away from us," she snarled. "Ma'am, that is an undead, a monster that has already murdered many." "Exactly. We're trying to save you and do our jobs as druids," Galliarin added as she drew her sword. "I don't give a damn what your job is. You hurt my Aldrich, my friend. I should kill you all, leave you for the vultures." She pulled out her burial blades in preparation for battle. "No way a necromancer is on our land." Juries looked at his captain, awaiting a response. Severa's magic flared in a burst of purple blight and made the roots and stone corrode into black dust, freeing Aldrich. Her arcane capacitor was now at 80%. "Leave us alone. I won't tell you again." Dyler channeled his magic to conjure roots from the ground. "Ma'am, you are under arrest for the crime of maleficium. Please come quietly, or we will use force." Severa pointed her blade at him and fired a slug round that struck Dyler in his chest, pushing him on his back as it bounced off his wooden chest plate, much to the shock of the others as his roots wilted. "We aren't using force. We're using lethal force," she snapped. Juries glared at Severa as he helped up his boss, who held his hand on his punctured chest plate. "Very well, we use force." They charged at each other, the pair of long-lost family versus the 3 druids honor-bound to defend their land from unholy beings. With his physicality restored, Aldrich nabbed Severa by her abdomen and tossed her closer to Galliarin while Dyler and Juries charged the Risen with swords in hand. He swung his sword with immense strength and pushed back the 2 druids, but he was relentless and chased them down. Aldrich gave them a lariat to the neck. The impact felt like a boulder slamming their throats as he pushed them into the sand. Severa dashed through the sand, in an effort to close the distance with Galerin. As she picked up speed, she spun with her blades like a circular saw. They became charged with pulsing death essence. Galerin's eyes widened as she began to sweat more from the saw of death coming her way. Before Severa could connect with her target, Galerin clasped her hands together and conjured an orb of water that trapped Severa inside. The druid caught her breath as she saw her allies struggling against Aldrich. "I'll help you out, guys." She raised her hands to the sky and swirled them through the air as blue mist from the sand followed suit and formed a dark gray cloud in the sky that unleashed bolts of lightning on Aldrich. Yellow electricity surged through his body and stunned his movement. But as another stuck his body, he grabbed the two druids who took another bolt as he drained their life essence. The electricity arcing from them turned sand into charred yellow fulgurite that littered the area. Juries cut off the undead's fingers and struggled to move to aid his leader. He held his hand above his chest and green energy flowed through his body, healing his body. Galerin, "Stop dropping lightning on us. Deal with the devil you trapped before she breaks free," he shouted. Severa struggled to breathe and move in the orb of water, and as she looked through the deep blue prison, a bolt of lightning connected. The orb surged with lightning. Severa felt intense agony throughout her body. Her muscles spasmed violently. A flash of light engulfed her sight, and a buzzing sensation engulfed her hearing. She floated motionless in the water, unconscious and drowning. Worried about drowning a prisoner, Galerin turned off the water sphere, and Severa remained unconscious and soaked, her muscles spasming and twitching. Aldrich looked in horror at his creator's condition, and in that pause was restrained with entangling roots. Galerin pulled out stone cuffs to restrain Severa, but a sigil glowed on her shoulder, and a flash of green washed over Severa. Her eyes opened, and she glared at the druid who called another bolt of lightning, but she leaped out of the way, leaving nothing but fulgurite in the target area, and a powerful fist in Galerin's stomach, and a pressure wave escaped her back. The druid vomited blood and paused as Severa's stinger drove its way into her abdomen and injected her venom into her body. "You should have drowned me completely." She yanked the dermal blade from her body. As she fell to her knees, Severa held back her arms and stepped on her back. "How about we cripple those spells of yours?" Galerin screamed as Severa pulled and twisted her arms, slowly pulling them out of their socket. With no use of her arms, her spellcraft would be crippled. Juries saw this and gritted his teeth. "You monster!" He snarled as he pulled back an arrow, but was met with a slash to his back that made him fall to the ground, blood gushing from his back. Aldrich held Dyler in the air by his throat and began to siphon his life force. As the druid's life essence came into the Rizena's fingers, began to regenerate. Severa grinned from ear to ear as she got closer and closer to tearing the druid apart, but she noticed the sand rumble in a line getting closer to her. She let go and leaped from the druid's back, and a jet black worm shot from the sand, covered in white bone plating. The desert Tiham dived back in the sand and began to swim to Aldrich. She ignored the druid on the brink of broken limbs and ran to Aldrich. "Aldrich, get on a building," she shouted, but he didn't notice her, and the fake erupted from the sand and held Aldrich in its mouth. She leaped on a building and leaped high in the air and attempted to pry its mouth open before its jaw snapped the Risen in half. They both succeeded in prying its mouth open, and Severa kicked the demon worm to the ground and shattered one of its 7 diamond hard cores with her knee. As they landed in the sand, a lot splashed on the downed druids as the demon dug back in the sand. "Thanks for the help," Aldrich said as he stared at the sand, trying to keep track of the demon. "Don't mention it. What are we going to do?" "Follow me deeper into the town," Severa commanded as they both ran farther into Grendel. The two ran to the ruined town square. Ruined shops, wilted plants, and bright blue lakes stood in the square, along with many corpses of humans and orcs, their weapons littering the ground. "Aldrich, can you use a bow?" Severa asked as she conjured purplish-black energy in her hands in preparation for a spell. "Yes." "Good, I need you to get on top of one of these buildings. I'll get you some help. I'm going to be bait for the fakes when they emerge. Shoot at the core." She uttered the incantation. Warcier. Purplish-black plasma arced from her hands and touched 5 orc corpses, and her arcane capacitor was drained to 50%. Their green skin became purple, Their silence became deep groans as the orcs stood up holding their bows. Large and heavy fitted for the orc warrior with a force so strong it's reminiscent of a ballista. Severa nodded her head up to them, and they loyally leaped onto the rooftops as they pulled back their arrows. She stood in the square. Her tail sensed the vibrations in the sand. She anticipated the monster and darted from her space as the fake shot from the sand. Her undead loosed their arrows and shattered 5 of the remaining 6 cores. The fragments of red diamond splattered on the sand as the demon fell to the ground in critical condition. She walked up to the last core on the worm's head and shattered it with her fist. A powerful scream erupted from the demon worm as her fist was buried in its final crystal heart. It fell limp and began to dissolve into black mist. "You think that's it?" Severa asked as she shook her hand, but felt more vibrations coming from 2 more creatures in the sand. "I spoke too soon. Everyone draws another arrow," she commanded. Another fake leaped from the ground ready to consume the necromancer, but a powerful gust of wind pushed it into the air. Severa looked behind her to see the 3 druids Galliarin held her hands up, engulfed in primal magic. "Don't just stand there, kill the demons now," Dyler commanded. She didn't like to work with druids, but fighting the monsters took priority as she and her forces shattered the crimson rocks in their bodies. 2 out of 3 fakes were dead, but the last one still lurked in the sands and dug under the houses her undead stood on. The weak sandstone houses shook and crumbled while Aldrich leaped off the house. Severa's zombie orcs were crushed by the fall.
Damn.
"Smarter than the others," she said. "What will we do now?" "The plan is the same, Aldrich." Dyler and Juries drew arrows as the leader commanded, while the strike team remained calm. Dyler said. Severa ran around the square and felt the vibrations of the demon on her tail. She stopped and leaped straight into the air as the worm followed her, spreading sand and stone everywhere arrows dug into the cores. Galliarin caught it in the air with her spell, but she fell to her knees and her spell broke. As it fell to the ground, Severa didn't waste the opportunity and slammed her knees on the last core, shattering it. She caught her breath on her knees as the demon dissolved into black miasma. The battle was over and Aldrich helped his mother get back on her feet. "You were amazing, Severa." "I know, Aldrich, but we have 3 druids to take care of, and I have 30 minutes of this augmentation spell left." The 2 looked to the druids only to find them hovering over Galliarin. Juries noticed a small purple vein and tore her shirt to discover a large series of deep purple and black veins. Her body was succumbing to cellular decay, the side effect of Severa's necrotoxic venom. Juries and Dyler tried to help her, but no herb they had could purge the venom or restore her rotten lungs and intestines. Both druids were out of energy to perform a spell, and tension began to rise. "Galliarin, baby, hang on," Juries said as she held his lover's hand. "Maybe if we go back to Zepho, someone can help her," Dyler suggested. "I don't think we can get there fast enough," he said as he looked at Severa. "You wizard. You did this to her. Fix her," he pleaded. "Wizards don't have healing spells. If there is anything you can do, we'll act like we never met here today. That promise is on my honor and integrity as a follower of the mountain god." Severa pondered the validity of the druid's claim, but a broken promise on a god is a great way to summon their scorn. This wasn't something she does normally, as she has made many mistakes with it, but 7 years have passed. Her might and control grew, and she was willing to attempt her miracle again. She hovered over Galliarin and raised her hands above her. Severa summoned her soul energy as orange as fire and engulfed the druid in her amber luminosity. With enough focus, she controlled the flow of her energy and restored her body to a point before the altercation. The purple and black receded and vanished like it was rewound to before the injection. She immediately stopped the flow and stood up, wiping the sand from her pants as Galliarin woke up. "There, I fixed your druid. Now abide by your promise and leave me alone." As Galliarin got up, she felt her sides as normal and was mesmerized. "I'm cured," she said, dumbfounded. Juries hugged and kissed Galliarin, overjoyed at her recovery. "It's a miracle." "Technically, yes." Severa tossed large sandstone boulders off the previously undead orcs, their magic now gone. "Now, if you druids will excuse me, I have work to do." More maleficium? Dyler asked. Yes, increasing my numbers will tremendously aid me. Just don't defile the fallen citizens. I'm a necromancer, not a necrophiliac. Please, ma'am, take this seriously.
All right, fine.
I promise that I won't use my necromancy on the fallen people of Grendel. Thank you, ma'am. Dyler turned around as the druids left the ruins. That was crazy. Though I'm glad we didn't have to kill any of them, Aldrich said as he dusted off his clothes. Well, that makes one of us. Since when are you this bloodthirsty? Since we lost everything to people who claim to work for purity, she snapped. They're just doing their job. So are Silicon soldiers. That's not an excuse to murder children or for them to come at you like they did. Whatever, this will get us nowhere. What is your goal here? I doubt you are in tourist territory for sightseeing. I need to destroy the orc hive for my boyfriend. You have a boyfriend? He asked you to do this. Well, no. This is a gift for him. Dead orcs are a gift? You're giving him undead thralls. Severa smacked the sand off an orc corpse, and with a flash of purple light, its flesh blackened. It rose as an undead thrall that just stood in front of Severa awaiting orders. Go bring more orc bodies. The zombie walked off to do its charge. Severa turned back to Aldrich. No. The thralls are for me. The mountains and its resources are for him. To go through all this for him, why? Severa held her chest as she took a deep breath. Neo has been the best thing to happen to me. He was there for me when everyone else would judge, even when I didn't deserve his love, loyalty, or forgiveness. I'll do anything to reciprocate what he has done for me. A mountain range of ore, ether, and crystals should suffice. Well, I'm happy you found someone to love. How do we proceed? The orc zombie dragged 2 bodies to his new master and went to get more. We amass as many undead as we can control, then we advance to the mountains and hatch up a plot to destroy the entire orc hive. Are you sure you're in good enough shape to keep moving? I'll be fine, Aldrich. Aldrich nodded. Very well, as your undead servant. Your wish is my command. Severa sighed. Aldrich, what did I tell you when I raised you from the dead? Our relationship isn't master and servant. It's like mother and son, and therefore, you aren't bound to my will. Of course, you make comrades, not slaves, and this one wants to return to your guidance and leadership. Fine, Aldrich, let's do this together. Just like old times. Yes, just like old times. But now I need to conduct a ritual once we have all the orcs. Severa worked on a ritual to raise multiple undead thralls in one fell swoop. With blood gathered from the orcs and humans, she made a large ritual circle. 200 orc bodies were assorted around the circle. Severa stood in the circle of special candles at the edges where lit and smelled like death. She charged her magic. Purplish-black flames swirled around Severa as she spoke the incantation. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. The flames rose as she spoke the incantation again. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. The flames rose ever higher like a pillar of death. She tightened her grip and spoke the incantation one last time. Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. The pillar dispersed in a cloud of purplish miasma that engulfed the orcs. As Severa walked out the fog, 200 undead orc thralls were at her beck and call. Amazing work, Severa. You can't be older than 18. How'd you get so good? Severa walked past Aldrich. Her new troops marched behind her like an organized detachment. Come on, I'll tell you on the walk.
Severa and Aldrich left the ruins of Grendel with a group of 200 zombified orcs trailing behind them at their command. The sun bore down hard on them and the charcoal-black skin of the zombies began to dry out and stretch on their flesh. Severa and Aldrich were catching up through the stroll in the sun. So you saw a guy explode a woman with a single touch and you thought he would be a good teacher? Aldrich asked. He did prove to be a good teacher, or at least I gathered immense knowledge from him. Besides, do you really feel bad for Ophelia? I doubt I'm the only one she abused. Oh, don't misunderstand me. If I saw her pick you up by your horns, throw you down the stairs and lock you in a dark moldy basement, with no intention of feeding you, I would have killed her myself. I'm just stunned you would surround yourself with morally bankrupt individuals, especially ones that could kill you in an instant. Fortune favors the bold, Aldrich. Besides, do you think that Fornius gave me a choice? Fair enough. A crow came from the sky and landed on Severa's shoulder. He hopped to her ear and whispered something in her ear. She shook her head, patted the crow and smooched him on the cheek before he flew off. Care to share with the class? The orcs are marching towards Zepho. Severa answered. Oh really? Yeah. A battalion of 1,000 orcs is going to raid the town like we're back in the Dark Ages, and we are going back to the town. You're going to be a hero? Don't misunderstand me. My main motive is getting more undead troops. Orcs are amazing physical brutes. Their muscle fibers are so dense regular bullets and blades will barely hurt. They will be amazing shock troops and a great start for my undead army. She pulled out her arcane diamond and funneled her soul energy into it. As she charged it with her diamond, she spoke the incantation, Santimus. A black and violent portal opened which led to her subspace. You lot go in, you will be beckoned later, she commanded of her thralls, which complied and walked into the tear. You can make domains as well, Aldrich said. She stopped charging her diamond as it reached 100% and turned to Aldrich. I'm not done. Come here. Severa clasped her hands on the behemoth's face and spoke, Valius. A shimmer of rainbow washed over Aldrich. His deathly white skin was veiled in a tan complexion, his crumbled and cracked armor cloaked in pristine gray stone and moss, his dry white hair covered in full black hair, and his deathly odor was replaced with the scent of emerald soap residue. There you go. Now you can pass as one of their Templars so they won't try to kill you. Aldrich felt the illusory veil and felt nothing that covered him. Underneath he was the same. You've grown so much. I know, Aldrich. Now come on, we have more power to gain. As the pair walked through the sand, she felt a soft ping in her head and grinned. She only knew one person who could conduct telepathy in a way that felt like a gentle pat on the head. Severa, you there? Oh my god, Neo sweetie, how are you, baby? Severa began twirling her silky white hair as she thought of Neo. Yep, that's you. I'm doing fine, missing you though. I miss you too with the adventure I'm having over here. It's great to hear your voice in my head. Really, what's happening? Well, I met 3 druids as well as an undead of mine that I thought died, Aldrich. The first one you ever made and 3 druids. Oh no. Yeah, it went how you'd expect it. I got submerged in a water sphere and electrocuted with a lightning bolt, but I got her back with a devastating gut punch and a shitload of my venom. I'd question your claim of surviving such an ordeal, but you've been through worse, a lot worse. Of course, with a contingency and a physical augmentation spell I could survive that. So after we killed some worm-looking Tihom, the druid I stung was succumbing to my venom, so I used my miracle and now the charges are dropped. People of Taurus's faith are honor-bound, straight-laced and extremely stubborn. Do you really expect them to honor a deal they made with a necromancer? Usually no, but he used the esoteric oath to Taurus. If he breaks his word, Taurus will have words with him and his subordinates. I guess you can trust that. Yeah, and Severa heard lightning bolts, screaming, the clashing of blades and crunching of bone. She knew she was close. Baby, I'm about to get another battle. We'll pick this up later. Okay, Severa. As she hung up the telepathic call, she noticed a spear blade inches away from her eye, but Aldrich caught it swiftly. The force made his hand vibrate and the illusion fizzle, but it still stood. She looked to the walls of Zepho and saw way more than the original 200, she thought. An emotion filled her heart. Not fear but anger, that she could be so close to death in an instant, all because she was distracted. She glared at the battalion and held her hand out to Aldrich, asking for the spear. Thanks, Aldrich. He dropped the heavy stone spear in her hand, and she aimed at the biggest orc and tossed it with tremendous strength. It surged through the desert wind and went through the orc's chest. The blade poked out the sternum, its heartbeat on the blade, as well as a strange green worm that fell off the blade and shriveled in the sand. The orc fell to his knees, and on the sand dead, a white mote of light left his body and wandered into Severa's pendant. The 1,000 orcs saw their leader dead, but it didn't deter them as they fought with more fervor. Stone-shooting turrets mowed down the orcs like a sickle tilling a field of wheat. Flaming arrows and lightning bolts held the line against the invaders. The turrets ran out of stone ammunition, and Severa ran into the crowd and leaped off the orcs' backs to deliver shotgun slugs to their skulls and doses of her necrotoxin. By the time she was out of ammo, 12 orcs had their skulls shattered and 5 were envenomed. Aldrich cut through many with his sword and the orcs' spears. Their strength didn't mean much to the Risen that gorged himself on their kind. Galleron prepared her magic in her hands and said, "Is she really here again? Fight now, complain later, Galleron. Get that wind spell ready." Dylar commanded. Severa pulled out her burial blades, a pair of twin commas that originally belonged to her father. Now it would continue to cut down the wicked in the hands of his daughter. She connected the dual commas to form a single large scythe. Her soul energy activated the death ether and gave her scythe's blade a baleful purple glow. Her soul energy reserves were reduced to 70%. A slight drain went through her muscles. Her physical augmentation spell had little time left before she went out. "Aldrich. In 30 seconds assist," she commanded as she began swinging her necrotic blade. Like a savage demon from the depths of the nether, she cut through the orcs' bodies. Her baleful scythe sliced through their flesh like a hot knife through butter. Limbs and heads flew in the air as they were cleanly cut from the vessel. As 30 seconds passed, she fell to her knees. Her muscles suddenly failed in a crimson pile of 45 orcs. While the druids on the walls were mesmerized by the sharp violet and crimson cyclone, another orc tried to cleave into her neck but was met with a spear to the throat from Aldrich. He ran to her, took the orc's great axe and swung it into another orc's chest. "How long will you be on your knees?" Aldrich asked as he sucked the essence from an orc in his hands. "A minute tops. I heal quickly." Aldrich rolled his eyes and said, "Let's get you up now." He held up his hand to the horde of orcs running his way and siphoned their soul energy as streams of green left their crumbling bodies and flowed to Severa, using Aldrich as a conduit. She sprung up to her feet and felt a surge of energy running through her from the sweet sensation of the soul's nectar. Before she could move, she noticed the wind kick up and converge behind the remaining orcs. It got stronger and stronger. Sand and severed orc parts were sucked into the whirlwind. The whirlwind grew larger and stronger. Severa and Aldrich anchored themselves in the ground while the remaining orcs were taken up into the crimson sand cyclone. Severa looked behind her to find Galleron whirling her hands as she conjured the tornado. Dylar and Juries added blue lightning bolts to the cyclone, engulfing it in a bright blue glow once it stopped. All that remained was a column of fresh, glistening blue fulgurite encasing the remaining orcs. The 3 druids fell to their knees as their energy depleted, as white motes ventured into Severa's pocket. "I would say you shouldn't have come back, but if you didn't step in to give us time, they'd be beyond the walls by now, so thanks," Dylar said as he landed on the sand. "Well, you druids proved to be stronger than I thought. I can't make a tornado, at least not yet." Dylar looked past Severa and surmised that the human-looking knight is an illusion. "I can't make illusions. You even removed the smell of rot. What do you want?" Severa swung her arm back, her thumb pointed at the fulgurite monolith. "The bodies of the orcs," she answered. "Do I want to know why?" "You clearly know why." Dylar sighed and shook his head. "Fine, we can't have this glass in the way of the roads anyway. Just don't raise them in front of everyone. I understand. I'll shatter the glass and place the bodies in my subspace." Severa smashed the fulgurite monolith with her fist, and as it shattered, the bodies fell into the sand, and as she spoke the incantation, Santimus, her subspace entrance opened and her thrall's hands emerged and dragged the bodies inside, like a vacuum cleaner sucking up dust. "Is that all you're here for, some undead thralls?" "It's on the list but not my main objective." "You mind telling me your main goal then?" "I do mind. Your town of pickpockets is safe, and that should be the only thing you care to think about." She turned around but Dylar grabbed her shoulder and said, "Please ma'am, this orc business needs to stop, and if you're hunting them, you could be a great asset to the cause." Severa turned partially back and glared at Dylar's hand. He saw the quickly building rage and her stinger begin to shake like a rattlesnake, and he quickly let go of her. She sighed, "Look, I don't want to make you all feel uncomfortable with my thralls and their rot. Besides, what's going to happen? I go back to your town and get pickpocketed or worse locked away? I simply don't trust you. I understand you can't trust my words, but how about a binding vow in front of our gods? Like we did in Grendel?" Severa pondered the idea as the druids are strong, and controlling more than 100 thralls would prove too taxing. "Fine," she separated her scythe into her commas. "In blood we forged this pact. Both mages nodded and cut their hands as their palms joined their pact, sealed in the eyes of the mountain god and god of secrets. We are now allies. Any actions against the other will be seen by the gods as heresy and punishable by the greatest scorn they can bestow. Dylar explained. Fine. Severa said as the cut on her hand mended nearly instantly. Dylar looked down at her hand and then at his and noticed his hand mend instantly. Wow. I didn't know you could regenerate. I have an enhanced body. Now let's plot how we end the orcs.
A few hours after the battle outside Zepho Severa, the three druids sat at a stone table in the Gemstone Tavern. A map of Atlas Ire rested on the table. To the bottom left was the town of Zepho. Further forward was Grendel, and to the far end was the mountain range. Galliarin stared at Severa as she focused on the map. She noticed the static eyes of the druid and asked,
Are you upset about the fight? Look, after being drowned and electrocuted, it's only fair I put my foot on your back and stretch you out.
Please don't say gross things, and that's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking, how old are you?
I'm 18. Why do you ask?
Galliarin's eyes widened at the answer.
It takes decades for wizards to get powerful. How are you only 18 years old?
I trained under incredibly powerful teachers. From 11 to 18, I trained in magic and my martial arts.
She said as she made her orange soul energy flow like water around her body in a shimmering sheen, an application of soul energy that only a monk could utilize.
That would explain your lack of people skills.
Severa looked up from the map, her eyebrow raised.
My people skills are sufficient for those I actually cherish. That number happens to be small.
Dylar and Juries came to the table and placed 4 mugs on the table. 2 were Grey Mountain Ale, 1 was Green Lily Brew, and the last one was simply water.
Here you go, ladies.
So what were you two talking about? Juries asked.
Galliarin took a sip from the mug of Lily Brew and answered.
We were talking about how you owe me 20 silver juries. She's 18.
No, really? Damn it, I thought she was 24.
Let's get serious, people.
Dylar said as everyone nodded and sat down. Severa placed her finger on the mountain and said,
This is clearly their base, but we need a plan to kill them all. Their numbers are likely very high.
The last count of the orc population was 800,000.
Juries said as he chugged his entire mug.
Damn.
You seem excited at the idea of killing damn near 1 million orcs.
1 million, 10 billion. They're an issue that needs to be dealt with.
Sadly, she's correct. Dylar drank half of his mountain ale. But what I can't understand is why. Ever since Taurus came to power, the orcs laid down their arms, became our people, and have prospered for centuries. Why throw all that away?
Severa pulled out her Unimite shard, now filled with the souls of the battalion, and said,
I might be able to find out.
What is that?
An Animite amulet capable of holding the souls of the dead. I could go through the memories of these souls and gain knowledge.
I don't like using souls, and you keep them from passing on.
What I do with the souls of the wicked is none of your business. Severa turned to Dylar. Do you want answers or not?
Humph. It's your choice.
Severa held her Unimite crystal in her hand. It glowed bright white with the souls of the orc battalion. She spoke the incantation. She connected her mind to the minds of the orcs, rooting through their memories. From the blackness of closed eyes, she saw previous random events from the orcs' point of view. She saw a large farmland that grew wheat and corn, surrounded by stone. She felt the exertion of working soil, smelled the pungent odor of fertilizer, and heard the tunes of fellow farmers. Through another memory, she heard the silence of the tunnels and saw numerous veins of silver, gold, iron, and crystal outcrops. Another memory was of an orc soldier in a large army who stood in formation. And while the formation was silent, the smell of musk and iron permeated the chamber. She saw a large orc standing above them, all that stood above the rest, and beside a slender man wielding a scepter. Feelings of pride and joy washed over her as she saw the muscles and armor of the leader, whom she surmised to be Fornius. A mixture of fear and curiosity washed over her as the chieftain swallowed a worm, and excitement shot from her mouth like a siren as he stood brimming a baleful green miasma from his body. Her cheering melded with the others and echoed through the mountain tunnels. The final memory she witnessed was an orc captain kneeling down at a wriggling neonine larva on a leaf. She lifted the worm and opened her mouth wide to accept the eldritch parasite. She could feel its spiked carapace run down her throat. Something inside her spiritually was lost and replaced with a deep, endless hunger, and a baleful green miasma ran through her body. Severa returned to her mind and began to stumble. Psychic resonance will always be a strain on her marred mind.
Fucking hell.
What happened? What did you learn?
The orcs have all been corrupted by Fornius.
Fornius.
He is an incredibly powerful arc wizard. He lived for eons, as he is a precursor, specifically an Eidolon. He is an evil, egotistical, mad scientist. He was also my old master.
The druids went silent, and Dyler spoke up.
Can we beat him?
You don't have to worry about beating him. I killed him a while ago in Caduceus. Well, me and my darling Nelio.
Nelio Algrim? Grandson of Derek, the youngest son of King Algrim, the great inventor Gardenia. That Nelio Algrim?
Yes, the one and only. He needs the mountains the orcs live in. The ore and other gemstones will let him build more automatons for our war with the Darkin.
That's why you're here.
Yes, he is still back home working on new innovations. I volunteered to come here to clear out the hostile orcs and establish a mining facility.
All by yourself? Why?
Because I want Neo to have his resources and not stress himself out more than he already is. His heart can only take so much.
His heart? He can't be older than you.
I know he's 17, and he has a heart condition.
Enough. Severa, what did Fornius do to the orcs?
He bonded them to the neonine larva, a precursor species of parasite that grants immense magic power, but at the cost of being soul-bound to an endless blood tithe. Through the memories, I could feel the larva shredding my neck and my soul being replaced with an empty void that could never be satisfied. Something has happened to their souls that can't be reversed.
You restored Galliern. Can't you restore the orcs? Or do you want all the thralls?
Dyler held up his hand and stated, No, the worms may have stolen their autonomy, but they used their own autonomy to take this bond in the first place. There is no need to reverse their condition. Taurus has tasked us to end the orcs, and that is what we'll do.
So, you don't mind me taking them as thralls?
You can have those bodies. Think of it as deporting dangers to the general public. The mountain will be nothing more than a grim reminder of the damage done here. The sooner it gets reforged into something good, the better.
You have the authority to do that.
Stone Lord Atlas won't mind a mountain, going towards Derek's kin.
Good. Then I think I have a way of killing all of them effectively in one fell swoop.
Well then, please share with the class.
I can surmise from the memories that the tunnels are poorly ventilated. That gives me an idea. The dead orcs and undead thralls I already have in my subspace can be used to create a powerful Vonner weapon used in the old days called effluvium. Like a witch and her cauldron, I need them to boil and stew in water to create the necrotic miasma. Once we have it, we can use it against the orcs.
I've heard of this stuff. Doesn't this miasma make undead thralls?
I won't lie. Yes, it was used to make undead thralls and banned from regular use, but that's the thing, regular use.
Aren't pocket domains called subspaces because of their limited space? Do you have the capacity for all those undead? Can you control that many undead?
Yes, no, and no. That's why another part of the plan is for you guys to make large boulders blocking each entry and exit point, to not only box them in, but to keep my new thralls localized until I can collect them.
Fine, but orcs are powerful. What if they burst through the rocks?
I think a big enough stone will be unable to be broken even by the orcs. However, only a fool relies on one plan, so if they do get out, That tornado spell will be effective for swallowing any rogue stragglers.
Okay then, but we don't have knowledge of each entrance or exit point.
I'll reshape into a vulture and scout the area.
Going out there by yourself? I'll be in disguise as well.
That would be great. There might be something about the mountain I'm unaware of, so I like the idea.
Fine. How long until you can get the effluvium running?
3 days, she answered.
All right, let's get to work.
Dyler said as his subordinates nodded and shape shifted into vultures in a flash of gray light and left the tavern.
Severa stood up from the table and said, "Off to the lab."
As she walked through the streets, she came across the ruined alchemy house and met Aldrich at the door, his illusions still holding up after an hour of use.
What's the plan?
I'm about to make some effluvium here. It's going to be a main contributor to our success.
Really? Here? The smell will attract attention.
Aldrich, my illusions are why people can't smell you now. I'll be fine. Now soon you'll have a battalion of 300 thralls in this battle. Be ready.
Aldrich nodded as Severa went into the old alchemy house. Severa and Aldrich marched through the sands of Atlas Ire, their bodies covered in an illusory veil of an orc's visage. At their backs were many orcs, the products of illusions.
Are we ready for this?
Yes, we are. You know what to do, Aldrich.
They arrived at the Atlas Mountains. Severa looked up at the colossal mountain range and the gatehouse at the end of the trail. At the peak of the gatehouse were 2 large turret towers with 2 orcs at the helm of the siege weapons.
Stop. You aren't to return until you complete your mission.
Last time we saw you through the telescope, you were squandering our new gifts.
Take another look at the telescope. That town has been reduced to ashes, and I am ever sharper as I sang their extinction.
The orcs looked through their scope to see Zepho on fire, covered in smoke that rose to the sky.
Well, I'll be damned. Welcome home, Captain Sorgan.
Severa and Aldrich walked by the guards. Their illusory army came through the large tunnel. Severa slightly flinched at the smell of musk and manure used in the farms, but it added validity to her plot as well as the veins of ore and gemstone. Iron, tungsten, diamonds, rubies, they glittered in the mountain. Severa looked down and saw a small mouse and recognized it as Galliarin in disguise. Galliarin was unable to speak in her rodent form and nodded to the storeroom. Severa raised an eyebrow, but went to the storeroom, and Aldrich went to the training pits to continue his part of the plot. The necromancer leaned on a stone shelf holding numerous gems and rocks as Galliarin reverted to her original form.
Did you want to talk about something? We have literally 20 minutes before we start the massacre.
I know that's why I have to do this now. I know we have to destroy this clan. I've made peace with that, but there are 320,000 orc children who are completely innocent in all this. They've never wielded a blade, and from what I saw, they are scared to death about becoming what their elders have become. Dyler, Juries, and I aren't comfortable with murdering children.
Where will they go then? Will they be accepted in other tourist settlements?
I know there will be issues with resources, space, and acceptance, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Perhaps Gardenia can take some of them.
Galliarin begged as she held her hands together in her face. Severa sighed and rolled her eyes.
Let me send a message to Neil. Neil, how are you, my sweetheart?
Oh, hey, Severa. What's up?
We're about to do our masterstroke on the orcs, but how many orc children can the orphanage take?
As many as you need. We can figure it out.
Thanks, sweetheart. Severa hung up the call. You're really asking a lot here, Galliarin, but Gardenia will take as many children as they can. Hopefully, they'll have a better time there than I did.
Thank you so much, Severa. The back tunnel that leads to the coast will begin taking them once the fight starts.
All right. The front and back tunnels can be excellent choke points anyway. Now, let's go before your boyfriend thinks we're doing something in here.
Galliarin rolled her eyes and shifted back into a mouse that scurried under the stone door. As Severa left the storeroom, she had only 5 minutes left to begin the starting tactic and walked to the farming chamber. She gazed down at the large chamber and the numerous unique crops being tended to by the children. being watched by large guards holding axes and whips. She slid down the cavern, and everyone stood still in respect and fear towards the orc captain Illusion.
Everyone, by order from Chieftain Sverek, you are to make way to the coastal tunnel.
Why?
Severa turned and glared at the orc, whose back pressed against the wall as he stared at her.
Are you questioning your chieftain?
He shook his head quickly and said,
No, sir.
The children dropped their stone sickles and ran through the tunnel with the adults. Severa took a deep breath as she was finally alone. Her illusion vanished in a cloud of black mist. Soon all her illusions would follow suit. She pulled out a vial of blackish-purple miasma and smashed it in the crop field. The small puff of miasma grew in size and hunger as the crops wilted and desiccated. In a minute, the entire farm chamber was subsumed, and the effluvium went out to gain more victims. As alarms echoed through the tunnels, the end of the orc raiders was near. Severa ran through the tunnels, and the effluvium dared not to harm the one that made them. As she made her way to a large chamber, she made her subspace portals, and her thralls poured from the subspace, hungry and ready to feast. Severa pointed in all directions.
It's time to go feast my effluvium. The harvest shall commence. Go forth, my thralls, and consume all you find. The short ones are off limits.
Her 1,000 thralls groaned and nodded as they went into separate tunnels.
Time to find the ringleader.
Severa opened the chitinous plates around her tail and felt for the largest vibrations she could find and could detect some through the northern tunnel. She ran through the tunnel and prepared her blades. In a long tunnel, orc thralls shambled through the darkness. Any orcs in their way were eaten and engulfed by the effluvium lurking for more food. Severa ran through the tunnels, leaping off her tall thralls to hear a loud burst through the tunnels that made the mountain shake. Severa stopped and struggled to keep her balance as the stone shook. A bat flew past her and shifted into Galirin.
Severa, to the north is Sverek. If he isn't dealt with, he'll kill us all.
Okay, Galirin, thank you. Status on the children.
Save that for later. Kill the mountain shaker now.
Galirin returned to her bat form and flew off. Severa threw up and shook her hands.
Fine if it'll put you at ease.
She ran through the bloodied tunnels until she found the gates to the chief's chambers open. Zombies lay dead, bludgeoned and battered. Their thick black blood poured on the ground. A zombie flew past the necromancer and landed on the wall. She looked forward to seeing a large orc that she could only surmise as Svereg. She counted 50 zombies and even other orcs dead at his feet. A green pulse enveloped his body with each kill. His body covered in crimson and black blood, a menacing laugh echoed from his throat. He noticed Severa and kept laughing while waving his maul in her direction.
So you are the woman that brought me so many whetstones. I was going to kill you, but you might be more useful as a concubine.
You, assuming you beat me, kill me. I work with rot and decay, and I bet whatever is in your pants will make even me vomit.
Severa didn't respond. She merely formed her scythe and imbued it with baleful purple energy, radiating like a sun. Svereg imbued his maul with a terrible dark green virulence and grinned at the necromancer. The two darted at each other. Svereg swung at Severa, but she leaped over the head of the hammer and slashed Svereg in the chest. She expected crimson mixed with green to pour from the wound, but nothing came out to her shock. He swung his maul at her head, but she barely avoided it. As the hammer grazed her hair, it sizzled in dark green flames and vanished. She avoided numerous swings, but took a heavy punch that sent force through her chest and launched her to the wall. As she collided with it, her scythe lost its death energy enhancement and returned to a shiny, curved blade.
Oh, don't worry, dear. The others got used to it, so will you. How'd you like that? Your master really knows how to uplift his partners.
She got up and felt numerous breaks in her ribs and soreness in her chest. Both began to slowly mend.
I don't have a master.
Oh right, you threw away your partnership to what be weak with your little defective prince.
Severa darted at him and landed a heavy punch to his face that sent small waves through the air that kicked up rubble.
Keep Nelio Algrim and any remnant of his meaning out of your fucking mouth.
Svereg grinned, and Severa went for another punch, but he caught her arm and snapped it with a mere jerk of his hand. She was then tossed in the air, and as she fell, her chest was met with a vicious blow from Svereg's hammer that sent her flying back into the wall that cracked as she impacted. She got up and just barely avoided a punch from the orc chief that further cracked the wall. She leaped from his arm and tossed a shuriken coated in flame ether at his nape. It connected, bounced off his skin, and erupted in a burst of orange flames. Svarog lunged from the smoke unharmed and grabbed Severa by the neck.
Did you really think that would hurt me?
He grabbed her by her face and descended to the ground. The back of her skull formed a crater in the ground. The orc held his maul above the injured necromancer. Severa was dazed, her arm in searing pain, her skull cracked, and her vision blurry. Despite that, she glared at the towering orc and said,
"Go to hell."
He shook his head and slammed his maul in her chest. A shockwave surged through the stone and made the crater collapse. Immense agony surged through Severa's body as her blood spilled from her wounds. Her battered vessel fell with the rubble. Severa fell through the chasm and landed in a pile of rocks. She felt immense pain in her back as a large rock fell on her, entombing her in rocks. She barely clung to life, her breathing slow and haggard, but her body slowly healed itself. After a minute, the rubble shook as Severa rose from the pile. Her bloodied and bruised body continued to, and she stepped down the pile, her muscles very sore.
Goddamn. We may have to jump that fucker. I'm not gonna lie.
She looked around and found numerous brittle and rusted iron bars. Inside them are numerous corpses of human women, their skin gray and desiccated.
Oh damn, he wasn't joking about human concubines. Absolutely disgusting.
She hopped off the pile and snapped the iron bars in pieces. Severa took the 10 bodies and organized them in rows. She placed their arms in a crossed position with a shard of kyanite clutched in their hands. Time to wake up, ladies. You have justice to enact. She pulled out her animite crystal and began drawing energy from the souls trapped inside. Her body mended quickly with the life force of the slain. Shortly she felt no pain and could move her body with no soreness or stress. She performed, got on her knees, and clasped her hands together. She was still in pain, but time was of the essence. Purple glyphs appeared below them as she spoke the incantations.
Dark forces of the great beyond, I beseech thee, not because you are a malevolent void, but because you are a source of boundless secrets. Please grant these mortals a new chance of existence in the Crimson River. While the souls are laid to rest, a new identity shall rise or drown.
Purplish-black mist erupted from the glyphs and engulfed the corpses. The bodies twisted and writhed with the new animation worming into the vessel once the mist vanished. The kyanite was gone, and the new risen began to rise. They stood up. Their tattered clothing barely covered the new gray and deathly white skin. One woman rubbed her sunken eyes and scratched her new flaky white hair.
What's going on?
The sound barely escaped her mouth as her body was new. Severa crossed her arms and said,
"Hello, ladies. How do you feel? What do you remember?"
One woman who had a scar on her shoulder looked around dazed.
I don't remember a lot.
She focused hard to remember what fragments remained.
I remember being dragged somewhere in chains, hunger, my back bleeding from whips, the smell of farming, and...
Despite not needing air, she began to hyperventilate at her last memory. Severa surmised that it must have been the abuse Svarog has done personally.
That's all you need to say. Don't think about the past anymore.
She placed her hand on the risen's shoulder.
Who are you?
I am Severa Cromwell. I am the necromancer that brought you to life as risen. You are as sapient as any mortal, granted your memories are fragmented as the spell demands you are new people in the bodies of the dead.
Who were we before? Do you know?
Come on, look at your clothes. Look around. You can figure out what you were. By how emaciated you look, the cause of death was malnourishment.
The risen went silent. Rage grew in their blighted hearts as blackish-purple plasma arced from their bodies but stopped quickly.
I want payback. I want that piece of shit's head on a pike.
Well, we can get our revenge. All of us.
How do we have supreme magic power?
Severa pulled out her animite crystal and explained.
As risen, you have the power to absorb life force, and your power grows as you do it.
She held the shard up and said,
Absorb the energy in this stone. It holds the souls of your perpetrators. We will go back up there and waste his smug ass.
The Risen looked at each other and nodded as they held out their hands. White energy leaked from the stone and soaked into their bodies. Their emaciated bodies became fuller, their power grew, and their once dim eyes began to glow brighter. 100 souls withered to nothing as dust burst from the gem.
How do you feel, ladies?
I feel invigorated.
Crimson began to leak from her hands. Another began to protrude sharp bone blades from her hands.
I'm going to cut that fucker's nuts off.
Okay, ladies, let's go.
Severa leaped high, and the others followed suit with enhanced physicality and powerful streams of blood. Loud bangs and bursts could be heard as they got closer, and as she and her new Risen erupted from the crater, she saw Aldrich slumped on the ground.
Did you miss me?
You're not dead?
What your eyes don't work, bitch.
She landed on his iron throne. The others erupted from the hole, and as they saw Sverig, a whip made of blood struck him in the arm, but he barely felt anything from it. Sverig began to laugh as he realized what she did.
So you raised up these useless bitches as sapient undead. A waste of magical energy if you ask me.
Sverig laughed his ass off, but was abruptly stopped by a large bone spear through his shoulder. He shouted as he turned away and grabbed the spear. But Severa leaped with tremendous force and gave Sverrig a devastating punch to the face that knocked him to the ground and sent his teeth flying to the stone.
Pride cometh before the fall.
Severa mocked him as she kicked him far through the stone. She walked up to him. Her commas entered the scythe form. Crimson tendrils entrapped Sverrig, and his life force began to leave through it. As Severa got up to the orc, she swung her leg hard and struck the orc in the face. A large spurt of blood left his mouth and splattered on the stone.
You bitch.
His words sounded muffled as his jaw was dislocated.
That's right, talk your shit. That's all you can do.
Sverrig tried to break free, but had no luck as Severa grabbed him by his jawline.
Like I said, talking shit is all you can do.
His head swung in an attempt to strike Severa, but she weaved it and delivered a blow that shattered his nose. Severa shoved her stinger in his abdomen and injected her venom through his body. One of the Risen walked up holding another spear made of bone and said,
Let me enact justice before you kill him.
She pressed her spear below his belt.
Alice, you said you loved it.
Risen Alice glared at her perpetrator and plunged her spear in his groin. His screams echoed throughout the chasm as she twisted the bone blades. As she yanked out the blade, his pants were covered in blood, and 2 large balls fell to the ground. Sverrig fell to his knees. Purplish-black veins grew from the neck of his shirt. His muscles grew weak from the siphoning blood tendrils. Severa swung her scythe and placed the blade on Sverig's neck, ready to end the tyrant. Severa turned to the blood-wielding Risen and said,
Amazing application of your siphoning. If you don't remember your original name, how does Viscera sound?
It's fine, ma'am. Just kill him, please.
Ladies, are you satisfied with his death? No more agony can be inflicted on the dead.
She looked at her newly born, Risen, and all nodded their heads. With one press of the trigger and the jerk of her muscles, the burial blades swiftly severed the chieftain's head with a mechanical screech. His head flew off his shoulders, and blood shot from his neck like a geyser that covered the necromancer's face. Once his head fell and bounced off the stone and rested at his victim's feet, his body fell to the ground, and his green flicker of a soul went into her anemite crystal. Severa wiped the blood from her face and ran to Aldrich, his body slowly mending. He got up and looked around at the shattered stone, the crimson lining the chamber, and the necromancer at his side.
Severa.
Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. You look like shit, though.
She held out the crystal to give him some energy, and as it glowed, he pushed it away. He slowly got himself up on his feet. Severa laughed and said,
He does pack a punch in your chest.
Aldrich looked at the 10 new Risen hovering over Sverrig.
Who were they?
Concubines, taken from their homes and subjected to heinous treatment. I think they died of malnutrition.
You gave him justice.
I don't know about that. Risen have fragments of the former's memories, but they are a new person. You aren't the same as the last guy I raised.
Not sure they see it that way.
Pale blue and white mist swirled from the middle of the chamber and formed into an illusory visage of Fornius. He gazed down at his former apprentice and the dead orc on the floor.
So you ruined another thing for me, his voice echoed through the chamber.
His voice echoed through the chamber.
Ah, Fornius, what's good with you? You attached your head back that quickly?
You can't halt what's coming. Even killing my pawn doesn't matter in the long term.
We'll see. However, thwarting every plot I can makes you boil with rage. I know that. I know you. Let me guess. You beguile more pawns that grow in power from these towns. Once they are done, they become auxiliary forces to attack Gardenia.
Fornius went silent, indicating the truth in his former apprentice's claim.
Oh, you think you're so clever, don't you?
I'd have to be a wizard, wouldn't I? She mocked back.
Well, I know what you came here for as well. That defect you choose over the boundless power I provide won't succeed in his futile attempt for change. Let's see if the monster I made can handle this.
Fornius snapped his fingers, and the illusion vanished.
Handle what? Aldrich?
Aldrich asked as a large tremor shook the mountain so hard everyone stumbled for a bit.
Fornius, you petty bitch.
Severa ran through the tunnels. Dust and rubble fell from the ceiling as she strode through the abyss. Loud explosions made it hard to move, but she found a hole in the wall lined in hot, steaming green acid that reeked of sulfur. She looked out the hole and saw the lush green oasis with orc children running through and down. She saw it. A colossal Tiham in the shape of a worm. It has no eyes but could still tell where Severa was as it burst from the lower stone and curved in her direction. Its bud-looking head expanded into a segmented maw, lined with thousands of sharp teeth. Green acid began to bubble and condense in its mouth like a dragon preparing its breath attack. Severa was unable to move just a demon in front of her, an empty space that would instantly fill in the other. Before she was hit with a corrosive stream, a large boulder struck it in the head. The demon fell on the mountain wall, but its acid burst on the stone, and it burrowed back in. Severa took a sigh of relief as juries floated in front of her.
Thanks for the save.
Don't mention it now. We gotta find a way to kill this thing.
Humph, how many cores are there?
I didn't see a single one.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Fuck. She slammed her hand on the wall, making it crack. Okay, we can do this.
How? Without cores, we were guessing how many critical spots we have to destroy.
I need your strongest spell.
That'll take some time.
That's completely fine. When the worm erupts, hit it hard.
Okay, will do.
Juries floated down as Severa leaped from the hole and entered the most recent hole made by the Eremos worm. She ran down the large demon-made tunnel. The darkness didn't matter to her as she caught up to the worm and pulled out a shuriken tipped in light ether. What she thought was the end of the worm opened up to reveal another head that spit its acid at her. She tossed the shuriken at the green wave and was saved by the explosion that blasted the acid back. As it settled, the Tiham was gone. She continued down the hole and made her way 50 kilometers down. She felt the growing heat as she was halfway to the mantle. She heard the bubbling of primordial ether pools, and she heard the explosions of nascent crystals likely made by the Tiham. Through the tunnels, the white etheric rivers flowed like hot blood through veins. Ether crystals of various colors lined the ceiling. Pink, red, blue, white, black, etc. held immense, volatile energy. Severa stopped and gazed at the crystals, but felt the call of Aldrich in her head.
Fucking hell.
Severa. Status.
I'm looking for the worm, trying to destroy the mountain.
The demon erupted from the ceiling and tried to consume Severa, but she swiftly dashed out of the way as the worm slammed on the rock floor. White light ether fell from the ceiling and exploded on the worm, but Severa noticed how it barely hurt the demon as it bulldozed into the wall.
Aldrich, radiant energy, the element that is the natural weakness of all Tiham, barely hurts it.
No way. How old is it?
Severa's head shot up as she thought of a plan.
I don't know how old it is, but I'm going to try something. Aldrich, I need you and the other Risen to direct all the undead to every point in the mountain. We'll be able to remain aware of its location.
Got it.
Severa ran further into the ether tunnels until she found a large chamber full of psychic ether crystals that radiated pink like rose quartz gems. Severa felt small remnants of mental energy in the chamber. Severa pulled out her Onimite gem. She spoke the incantation. The gem glowed, and screams echoed throughout the shard. Eventually, the pink psychic stones gained a blackish hue with their original pink glow. The gems now radiated negative emotions. Severa's soul energy was beyond her peak. Her total amount of soul currency would suffer, but the priority is the worm, not Gilmouth's deal.
All right, come on. You can't pass this up, T-Hum. She didn't notice the demon's vibrations anywhere in the stone. Or are you too old to be baited?
The Eremos worm erupted from the ceiling with its mouth wide open. She was unable to avoid it and was swallowed by the demon that kept digging through the stone. Inside, its bowels were tight and narrow. Even Severa's immense strength wasn't enough to offer her space. The putrid, pulsating insides got tighter, and acid began pouring into her chamber of abyssal flesh. The plan didn't change as Severa closed her eyes, fighting through the pain of dissolving, the suffocating of narrow muscles, the crushing of her bones, and her orange soul energy transmuted into the pale blue glow of temporal power. This energy expanded and engulfed the monster. The acid receded, the throat loosened, bones mended, corrosive burns healed, and the demon lost 3 centuries of power. Severa was able to cut through the body of the demon, its plating softer, its muscles weaker, and its mind once again primal. She stuck her scythe in the grooves of its plating and tugged. The demon surged upwards through stone. Severa was pummeled by the pebbles and surrounding stone, but she didn't care. Ending this demon was all that mattered.
Come on, worm, keep going.
Through the cuts and bruises and tightness of narrow tunnels, the worm erupted into the sky. Severa saw the bright blue sky and a second golden sun. She knew what that was and let go of the demon as a pillar of golden light shot through the worm. The holy radiance turned black and red to white and gold, and the gold erupted in a large blast that knocked Severa down. As she shot down 500 feet from the sky and awaited a devastating impact on the ground, she was surprised when she was caught by the wind and gently brought down to the ground. Her undead and the druids awaited her descent.
I didn't hit the ground.
Dylar hovered over her and said,
"We wouldn't let that happen."
He held out his hand and helped her up. Severa looked around, seeing her risen, her thralls, the druids, and the children in the oasis, and took a deep breath at the mountain.
Thanks.
Don't mention it, Severa. The threat of the orcs is gone. We can live in peace again.
A blue light appeared, and from it came Nelio Algrim, clad in his blue and gold robes, his spell book in his hand, then fastened to his hip. "Neo," she said, dumbfounded but gleeful as she ran to him at high speed and held him up in a hug, her hand pressed on the back of his head, her fingers running through his snow-white hair.
I missed you. Why did you come here? It's dangerous.
Neo blushed white. With her affection and the fact that it was done in front of others made her notice and quickly put him down.
Sorry.
It's fine, Severa. I'm happy you're safe, all of you. When watching you through my orb, you definitely gave me stress. I'd say you'll give me white hair soon, but I suppose we're ahead on that.
Dylar walked up to the royal wizard and was shocked that he stood at 4 feet 10 inches, much shorter than anticipated.
Mr. Algrim, are you saying you could have helped earlier?
Believe me, I wanted to help, but I was on the precipice of a new invention, and to be honest, 3 druids of Taurus and Severa, you had a sufficient force.
Well, everything worked out fine, I guess.
Juries came up to Neo and held out his hand.
It's nice to meet you, Mr. Algrim. Derek speaks very highly of you.
Neo shook his hand and felt the disparity in their strength as he gripped the druid's rough hand.
It's good meeting you as well. I'm glad you think highly of me. Not all of my grandfather's people think highly of me or my aspirations.
You know dwarves, sir. Galliarin chimed in.
Yes, I do, but this is for everyone.
Yes, sweetie. This mountain and its resources will be the origin of Noblestel's deposing.
That's great and all. Really it is, but the kids come first.
Of course, Neo said as he turned to the children and lowered himself on one knee to speak to the children. Hello, kids. I know you probably went through something traumatizing, but you're safe now. You're going to new homes, okay, where you can build new lives away from the evil that took your parents. He held out his hand and gave a warm smile to the children. I know you've had a long day. Come on, let's get you some food and rest. The children approached Neo, and the group hugged the wizard with tears flowing down their eyes. Ethereal blue mist erupted from the grass, emerging from it from Gilmath ready to collect on the deal.
You did an amazing job, Severa. He looked to his left, saw the children, and sighed, I guess I won't taste the innocent souls.
No, you won't, Gilmath, but you have the potential to gain 300,000 souls. That has to outweigh the taste of innocence. I had more, but I burned through them during the battle.
Gilmath floated back a bit in shock. That's how many are there? You have the capacity for some great rewards, he said as he rubbed his hands together.
How much for a gnosis? It was 500, correct. Well, what else have you got?
Well, let's make it a clean 4-item purchase. Through his blue mist, he conjured illusions of 4 objects. To the left, a monolith structure controlling undead. Past, it was a large transparent globe brimming with life energy. Past, it was a set of 10 reliquaries brimming with red vapor that resonated with a small part of Severa. To the right was a metal tablet with words Severa couldn't understand. These to the left are cryptoliths. They are dark magic structures that can empower undead, condition undead to follow you without your own will, and passively turn corpses in proximity. For this, I charge 50,000 souls. Past, it is the Ergosphere, a magic glass dome that can change its size and has a connection to the Ergospace, granting it unlimited life energy, but the same effects of overexposure if you overdo it. Another 50,000 for this. His hand hovered over the red, ornate capsule. I call these the Infernal Reliquaries. Within these capsules hold the remains of the former Asmodeus. While he is dead, his remains hold the power to craft hexes. I'll charge 100,000 for it. He weighed his body on the tablet illusion and explained, I know you'll love this. The iridescent inscriptions, primordial, esoteric language etched on a piece of unknown material. I can only assume it was from the primordial era. I can't make sense of these words. All the souls I've had, and no one has the knowledge to decipher it. Seems like you would like to take a crack at it. 100,000 souls for this as well.
Severa looked at the 4 items and grinned in excitement. You got yourself a deal, Gilmath.
Severa held up the Onimite shard, and all the souls trapped began to funnel into Gilmath's mouth. Motes of light blended with green remnants swirled down the demon merchant's esophagus. The siphoning felt like a pull from a rope, but she kept holding on to the shard, and after some time the souls were consumed and began digestion as the demon glowed brighter.
Spectacular, he exhaled. A deal is a deal. He snapped his fingers, and the objects materialized on the ground.
Severa opened her subspace portal and placed her prizes inside.
It was a pleasure doing business with you.
I look forward to more deals with you.
We can do more later on, my friend.
Gilmath nodded and descended into an ethereal blue mist that dissipated in the air as a large Gardenian airship approached from the sky.
That's our ride, Neo said and turned to the druids. We can take the kids to your cities with this and the rest back to Gardenia.
Okay, but we have to seal up the mountain first. Severa has numerous thralls in there that could wander out.
You're right. Severa agreed.
Aldrich and the 10 Risen walked up and he said, we can stay behind for now. We'll keep control of your thralls and seal up the mountain. Since Severa told me of your plans, we'll do mining until you get your mining automatons ready.
Neo and Severa looked at each other and nodded.
That will be great, thank you, Aldrich, said Neo as the two shared a handshake.
Severa leaned to the left to address the new Risen. You ladies sure you want to remain in this group? I don't want you to think I created you just to be a tool.
It's fine. You gave us existence and justice for the souls that used to inhabit us. We will gladly remain in your ranks, Alice declared.
Severa nodded in acceptance of the new Risen.
So that's that then, Neo turned to the kids and announced. Come on, kids, we're going home.
The Risen walked back into the mountains. The druids shifted into vultures and flew off, and the 2 wizards entered the airship with the children that remotely began flying through the air. Neo and Severa sat in the cockpit. A holographic screen showed the children walking around the ship. The front window had the beautiful sight of Zodia's sky, and Severa sat silently pouring water into his mouth as he steered the airship.
Thanks, I needed that.
You're welcome, sweetheart, and sorry I couldn't get you anything from Gilmath.
Don't worry about it. He had nothing I wanted anyway. Besides, you did get me something that the mountain range and its resources will be the start of change in the ether industry, not only in technological advancements but with ethics as well. Also, anything you make with what you get will be an asset to us.
Severa looked at the screen and smiled at the children playing and running around the ship.
You were so good with those kids.
You think so?
Yeah, you were so warm, patient, and inviting to them. You'll be a great mother.
Neo chuckled at the joke and said, "Indeed, you'd be a good father. So aggressive, reckless, and passionate."
Severa laughed and leaned on her boyfriend. Her shoulder rested on his arm, her tail wrapped around his waist. So, when will we become actual parents?
Eventually. Perhaps marriage should come first.
I mean, I already have you. What more would a ring and a ceremony do?
Marriage is the ultimate expression of love in the eyes of the gods.
True to look at the Scarlet God himself and claim you as mine for all eternity. It stirs something in me.
Calm down, sweetheart. We have to get the kids to a new home first.